Hello and welcome back to Football Manager 2020 with Southport in the Premier League. It is season 9 if I'm not mistaken, and we have gone big over the summer. We have broken our transfer record. We have spent a huge amount of money on a fair amount of footballers. We've also done a bit of a clear out, shifting on some of the more fringe players, basically players who weren't going to get any football anyway. Before we get into the transfers, we have moved into our brand new stadium, the Southport Stadium, 14,155 all-seater stadium, which we will sell out week in, week out, because we basically did that at the JJB, which has 10,000 more capacity. So we're going to play here for a season, and then we're going to try and expand it once again. I might actually try and do it now. Stadium, expand the stadium. Yes, ticket demands. Yep, okay. They're making the stadium bigger already. They're not even making it bigger than the JJB. They're putting up to 18,000. That's barely worth it. We are going to rattle through the transfers. First up, Charlie Taylor has left the club on a free transfer. Played one game, was absolutely shocking for us. Hopefully we'll never see him again. James Trafford has also left the club on a free transfer and apparently fallen right onto his feet and signing for Spurs. How was he at Spurs? Ante Sungui also leaving the club, going back to his native Belgium, signing for Antwerp on a free. Connor Savage also going back to his native Northern Ireland, signing for Larne on a free. Marcelo has left the club, signing for Swansea for about £18,000. Could have got more money for him, but basically nobody wanted him. He's out of contract at the end of the season anyway. No money or some money? We've got some money. Olude Olufonu has left, going to Burton for about 30k. Another Northern Irishman has left, Lee Bradley, signing for Lincoln for £40,000. Nikiwe Mzizi has left the club for a second time, this time signing for Sundowns in South Africa for £110,000. Fred Langton has also left the club, going to Stoke for £165,000. Nicolo Fagioli has also left, going back to Italy, signing for Chievo for about £180,000, I think, potentially rising to about £240,000. I say this one with a heavy heart. Big Bartosz Cybulski has left the club on a permanent deal, signing for Cracovia. I wanted to keep Bartosz, I really did, but basically he's nowhere near good enough for our side at the moment. If we were still in the Championship, I'd keep him around because he'd get the odd game every now and then, but he's not good enough for the Premier League. He's gone for a decent amount of money though. I think we've technically made a decent profit on him. 425, potentially rising to 525. Julian Consigliero, one of our few goal scorers in the league last season, has left, signing for League One side Ipswich. That shows how good he is. He's gone to League One side Ipswich for about 400k. Jacob Ha has also left the club. We signed him, I think, in January. He played twice, he wasn't very good. We've sold him on to West Brom for just over £4 million. It says 3.2, but it's going to go to 4, there you go. We have made a bit of profit on him, but, you know, he was a failed experiment. And finally, Leicester have decided to raid two of our youngsters. They've signed Mabit Seller, the Irish and South African central midfielder, for silly money, £4 million, potentially rising to 8.25. I didn't deal with this. I think he had a minimum fee release or something along those lines. Basically, it happened without me knowing. They've also signed another one. They've signed a Chile for Posse as well, the Cameroonian central midfielder, centre-back, striker, whatever you want, he's one of those. He has left, signing for Leicester, £4.8 million, potentially rising to just under 10 million. So we've got a decent amount of money from Leicester for two players who I don't even think they played for us. Joining the club then, starting off with a player who was here last season on loan, Miro Butic has made it permanent for £18 million, and this is a big risk. This is a huge amount of money for a player who I don't think right now is worth £18 million. However, I think by the time he's sort of 23, 24, he's going to be worth about £60 million. So I'm taking a punt on Miro Butic. He had a very good season last season, getting himself Fans Player of the Season. He played, 30 games, 1 goal, 7 assists, a 7.03 rating. I'm hoping it's money well spent. We're doing these in no particular order. Next up is Dejan Ibriks, who is a 19-year-old Croatian striker. He was available on a free. I got him in on trial. They said, he's pretty good. I signed him. I don't think he's that good. Next up is 21-year-old Ivorian attacking midfielder and striker and winger and everything else. Abubakar Doucouré, signing from ASEC Mimosas, my favourite team in the Ivory Coast. Again, coming in on a free transfer. I scouted him, they said, he's really good, you should sign him. So I did, and they've given him a 3-star potential. So maybe he's not as good as they originally thought. Another free transfer, and this time from Real Madrid B, technically. He wasn't playing for the A side, but Victor Gomez has signed from the Spanish giant. 3.5-star current ability, 4-star potential for this young striker. I think he's quite good. He's going to get a lot of football because our main striker that we signed in January is currently out injured for 2 more months. So Victor Gomez is probably going to start for us at least the first month or two. We have gone in heavy on the strikers and wingers department. Eugene Holovko is up next, a Ukrainian winger and striker signed from Shakhtar Donetsk after his contract expired. Free transfer once again, 3-star current ability, 3.5-star potential. I think Eugene is actually pretty good. And apparently he's worth £19 million, which I'm not sure why. It's a weird signing. I always do one of them. Neil McCloskey is a Northern Irish central defender signed from USL Dunkirk. USL Dunkirk was the team where Labilla was on loan last season. And then I looked at their squad and saw this guy and went, actually, he looks pretty decent. He's come in for not a lot of money, about £20,000, 2-star current ability, 3.5-star potential on Neil. He will be going out on loan for a season or two, so we're not going to see him for a while. Another central defender to join the club, who's not going to play for us for a few years, is Marko Popovic, 18 years old, Bosnian, signed from NAC Breda in Holland. He's come in for about £500,000, 1.5-star current ability, 4-star potential. Marko, going to hopefully just keep him in our under-23s for a season, maybe loan him out if he starts getting a little bit annoyed. I mentioned at the end of last season that we have signed an American. It is this man, Logan McCrecky, which is a strange name to say the least. Apologies if your name is Logan McCrecky. It's weird, okay? McCrecky's a weird surname. 18 years of age, central midfielder, 1 under-20 cap already to his name, signing from New York City Football Club, 2-star current ability, 5-star potential on Logan. He has come in for £2.5 million, which I think is a decent bit of business. Looking at some of his stats, mentally and physically and technically, he's got some reasonable numbers there. Only 18 years old, so he's got plenty of time to develop. Gonna sit in our under-23s for a couple of years. He might get the odd game here or there. We've got a number 1 goalkeeper. We've gone and signed ourselves a very good number 1 goalkeeper. It is Zbollocks. His name's Zbollocks. Zbollocks Vavro. It can't be Zbollocks. We're just going to call him Vavro. He is 19 years of age, Serbian. 1 cap to his name as well. Cost just £3 million. 4-star current ability, 5-star potential on Vavro. So yeah, we have got ourselves a much better goalkeeper than Karamoko Kone. Look at some of those goalkeeping numbers. Handling of 16, reflexes, rushing out and throwing, 16, 16 and 17. Mentally, got some great numbers in there as well. Physically, he's pretty decent. 18 jumping reach. He shouldn't ever get lobbed. He's also 6'5", and he's got 8 free kick taken. We're not making him take free kicks. Don't even think about it. For £5 million, we have signed Argentine attacker and midfielder Claudio Barreiro. It's not his name. But he's annoyed. He's very annoyed because I signed him and then didn't put him in my squad because I didn't intend to sign him to play this season. Yes, he's cost £5 million. It's probably too much money, but he's gone immediately out on loan to Platense. I think he does have 5-star potential as well. So he's one for the future, although he was quite expensive. And finally, smashing our transfer record is Damien Tilger, 22 years of age, Argentine striker and winger, costing 22 million, I think it is in total, 20 million. Just £20 million in total, signed from Lanús. He is going to be very good for us. I realise we didn't have any competition on the wings. We've got Rourke Murray on the left, we've got Craig Rutter on the right, and that was kind of it, wasn't it? We didn't really have, and Keith Hall, we didn't really have anyone who was superb on the wings. Damien Tilger, I'm hoping, is going to be that player who will be superb on the wings. As always, being a transfer window, we've loaned out a whole load of players. Najari Liao, Karamoko Kone, one of the big names going out on loan to SC Freiburg. He almost went on loan to Celtic, and then he rejected it. He didn't want to go to Scotland, apparently, which I don't understand why. Miguel Conceição to Belenenses, says Boubacar Ndri once again out on loan to Gagnoa. Barrio, we've mentioned. Zlot Miske also going out on loan because basically I couldn't fit him into the squad. He was getting annoyed that he wasn't playing a lot of football. I couldn't fit him in, so Miske's gone out on loan for a season. He's not gone forever. He will be coming back. So yeah, that is the transfer business that we have done. The window is closed, however, I think some of the European windows are still open, so there will be a little bit of business continuing. Labilla, for one, he will be leaving the club, hopefully on a permanent deal, but we'll see what happens there. Having a quick look at finances, you've already seen this very briefly, we still have £28 million to spend, and I'm not planning on spending it. I don't think we need to do too much more investment. One thing I have noticed with the squad is we have a lot of players who are slowly approaching their peak. Peak for most footballers, in my opinion, is around 24, 25, 26. A lot of our footballers are 22, 23, so they are getting there. So by the end of this season, a lot of our players, the players like Sebastian Mendes and so on, I think are going to be good enough for the Premier League. And just to show you the squad, if we sort by potential, we've got a lot of high potential players, and looking at the ages, 19s, 20s, 21s and 22s, there's a lot of players who are just under their peak, and then soon they will hit their peak. And then some of these players as well, like your Butić's, your Vavros, even your Tilgas, they're still under their age of peak, and they are our best players in the squad. So yeah, we are hopefully going to have a very good squad, maybe come the end of the season, hopefully halfway through the season, a lot of the players are going to suddenly kick into gear and turn into world-class, maybe, Premier League standard footballers. That's the goal. Before we go to our first match of this season, which I don't think is going to be the first match of the season, it's just going to be a match, I'm not quite sure yet. I just want to talk to you about my staff quickly. As you know, or you might know, we have Patrick Kluivert as our chief scout. And I kind of was a bit surprised that he wanted to join. And I've kind of worked out, actually, we are a Premier League side, we're actually quite good now. It makes sense. And what I've decided to do is get rid of our our director of football, who was a person called James Comley, who I think is a current footballer, if I'm not mistaken. I've got rid of him, and I've signed a former teammate of Patrick Kluivert. It's Mark Overmars. We've got Mark Overmars and Patrick Kluivert in our staff. He's really good. I mean, he's not superb. Don't get me wrong. 14s and 15s is not out of this world, but as a director of football goes, he's the director of football of Ajax currently, and in the game he was there for 12 seasons. We've gone and got Mark Overmars as our director of football and Patrick Kluivert as our chief scout. I'm now wanting to just go round and just hire lots of 50-year-old Dutch former footballers, because there must be some decent ones who are now scouts, coaches and all that jazz. As I've mentioned previously in the last season, I think we are going to be a mid-table side, so I don't want to spend a lot of time just fanning about this season. So what we're going to do, first match of the season we're going to do on camera will be Leicester, which is actually going to be on the 11th of September, and that's probably going to be the only match of this episode. We'll then probably go somewhere in October, and in October-November time. So yeah, maybe 5 or 6 episodes for this season. If it suddenly gets a bit interesting, for example, if we get to around October time, we find out we're undefeated, it's not likely to happen, but if we do, then it might suddenly change the way this season's going to work. But yeah, that's kind of the plan. We're going to fly through this season. Season 10, I think, is going to be the big season for us in the Premier League. That's where we're going to hopefully push forward and maybe get ourselves into a position where we can be challenging for Europe. Maybe a title, not a title, challenging for Europe. We'll go for that. We are back, and we have played the first 4 league games of the season and a Carabao Cup match against Chesterfield, and things have gone kind of the way I expected. Probably a little bit better than I expected, if I'm perfectly honest. We started off the season with a massive 3-0 victory against newly promoted Aston Villa. Victor Gomez, Eugene Holovko and Luke Matheson getting on the score sheet, and then we got battered by Jose Mourinho's Everton side. Let's not talk too much about that one. We then somehow stole a point from Manchester City. Victor Gomez and Sebastian Mendes with the goals for us. They also went down to 10 men, but we were already at 2-2 at that point. We played Chesterfield in the Carabao Cup, battered them. Tilga, Alsane Konate with 2 goals. Butić also on the score sheet along with Holovko. And then another victory against Wolves, this time Tilga and Rock Murray getting the goals. Means we're up to 8th place in the table. And I'm not expecting to be challenging for Europe, but certainly being on the peripherals of a challenge for Europe is probably a decent season. We're going to be playing Leicester next. They are joint on points of us. Hopefully we can pick up another 3 points, or at least a draw. So weirdly, we haven't lost to Leicester. Did Leicester... have they just been promoted? No, they've been in the Premier League. So yeah, last season we beat them and drew with them. We have yet to lose against Leicester. Awesome. Now's the time. So we have started the season with a few injuries, which we're starting to kind of get rid of now, which is always handy. Our starting lineup then, Varro will be our goalkeeper, Spadero, Monteiro, Bamba and Matheson will be the back four today. Monteiro, who was out on loan in Angola last season, he's breaking into the first team. Not because he's good enough, but because our Mexican central defender, who we spent a lot of money on, is constantly unhappy. So I'm giving Monteiro some games. He's doing alright so far. Midfield triangle will be Hargreaves, Butic and Tommy Doyle, with Halovko, Murray and Tilger as our strikers. One thing I need to make sure that I do before we kick off is stop long shots. We are doing long shots at the moment and it does not work. And by does not work, I mean what happens is Tommy Doyle has 15 shots a match and skies every single one of them. Ramon with the throw for Leicester City. Lokongo, I've just realised we played Leicester on camera not too long ago. Cresswell back to the goalkeeper. And now we're just putting a lot of pressure on them at the moment. Halovko wins the header. Butic, the expensive youngster. Rob Holding stolen the ball away though for Leicester. Can play it upfield. He's going to find João Henrique into the penalty area. Varro makes a nonchalant save, shall we say. We're going to get the ball clear, hopefully, through Spadera. Corner for Leicester. It's towards the front post. It's Cresswell off the bar. Bamba gets the ball clear. Leicester still potentially have themselves a chance that we're not going to see. Instead, we're going to see a Tommy Doyle free kick for us. 6 minutes, 15 seconds on the clock. Dramain Bamba's powerful headed effort goes over the bar. Going to see the goal kick as well. We're seeing a lot of action. We're literally not even 10 minutes in. We're barely over 5 minutes in. And we've seen most of it. Beale's one-on-one with the keeper. He's hit the base of the post. Matheson can clear the ball. It's going to be a throw for Leicester. 17.5 minutes on the clock. We've got some more action. Hargreaves and Bamba and Monteiro passing it inside our own penalty area. Ezio Spadera, who really isn't good enough for this league, plays it over the top to Tilger, in on goal, and Damian Tilger gets his third of the season, his first league goal for the club. I think that's his first, maybe it's his second league goal for the club. Anyway, we are 1-0 up away from home against Leicester. We are going to do alright this season. I don't think we're going to be in a relegation scrap. To be fair, when you spend about £50 million in your summer transfer window, you'd hope you're not in a relegation scrap. Walters with the goal kick. What was that little run that he did? It's a terrible goal kick as well. Ramon has the ball though after Halovko's not the best header forward. We're in 5th place in the Premier League. Apparently, Harvey Barnes runs forward, direct towards goal. Harvey Barnes goes for a long-range, powerful effort, but it is wide. 5 minutes left of the first half. We are looking alright in terms of shots and possession and things like that, but in terms of highlights that are going our way, there's not a lot of them. Harvey Barnes has it for Leicester. Lokonga across to Diawara, has to go backwards to Rob Holding. Holding plays it over the top on the left-hand side is Ramon. He's got 2 in the box. Harvey Barnes is another option. Gets past 3 tackles somehow. Still gets his shot away. Goes over the bar. It is going to be 1-0 to Southport at half-time. And I'm happy with that. We're doing okay. I'd like to have more chances. And I'd like to stop Leicester, I guess, having as many chances as they are having. No changes for us at half-time. Lokonga with an early free kick. Barnes back to Sambi Lokonga. The right-hand side has to go backwards. We can steal the ball away here. Laird has to go forward again. It's Aldo on the right, or Adu, sorry, on the right-hand side. Diawara back post as Harvey Barnes in on goal. Varro makes the save. It's going to be a free kick. Okay, Barnes was offside. I'm thinking we're going to bring off one or both of the strikers, or wingers, sorry, and also possibly Butic. So, Halovko off for Gomez, Rock Murray off for Keith Hall. Swap you two round. That's probably the way we want to go. Maybe that way. That way. There we go. I'm just rearranging everyone until the circles match up the best. We're also going to do Butic off for Konate. Konate has kind of broken into the first team after playing really well against Chesterfield. So I'm going to keep him getting some games. Final 20 minutes, nothing's happened in the second half. Let's give him a show some passion. Manchester City and Manchester United are drawing 1-1 in the Manchester derby. Matheson has the ball, plays it across the door. Matheson is a former Leicester player, isn't he? I think. Gomez can run direct towards goal. The substitute goes for an effort. Walters makes the save. Gomez did a little bit of business there, didn't he? Right, we're going to try and go a little bit more cautious. I think with 10 minutes on the clock, Konate plays it across. Tilger, he's got loads and loads of space, the Argentine has. Gets tackled by Fitzjim, but Ezio Spadera collects it. On the ground to Tilger. Can he get his second of the game? Damian Tilger does get his second of the game. Spadera with the assist. We're 2-0 up against Leicester. This has to be 3 more points. This point last season, I was already saying, we're probably getting relegated. I think we're safe. I think after the first 7 or however many games we played, our performances have been good enough to say, I don't think we're in any trouble of being relegated. It's 3-2. It's 3-2. It's 2-1 even. João Henrique has pulled a late goal back for Leicester. Let's give them a get creative. Let's see whether we can hold on, because if they equalise, that's not good. Into injury time, no further highlights please, thank you very much. It is a 2-1 victory away from home against Leicester, Damian Tilger with both the goals. We have lost one game of the opening 5 in the Premier League. We lost it badly, but we've only lost one game, and we've drawn with Man City. Things have started well. So there you have it then, 6th place in the Premier League. We have ourselves a nosebleed, along with Southampton, who were also in a relegation scrap last season. Both of us quite clearly outperforming early on in the season. Now, like I've already said to you before, what I'm going to do for this season, we're going to go a fair distance into the future for the next episode. I say fair distance, probably not. We might go Crystal Palace, and we might do Fulham, maybe. We might do something like that. So we're going to try and go through the season a little bit quicker. We'll have maybe 6 episodes. But yeah, that is going to do it for this episode. Apologies, it's only one match. But I feel like going through all the transfers and whatnot has probably taken a little bit of time. Thank you very much for watching this first episode of Season 9 of Football Manager with Southport in the Premier League. If you did enjoy, do please remember to leave a like. If you are new here and you want to see more, hit the subscribe button. I will see you next time. Hopefully, we're still doing alright in the Premier League. And I'll see you with possibly Palace or Brighton or something like that. See you next time.